Hey guys, what's up? It's Iflin here, and welcome to episode 9 of my Warframe The Ultimate Beginner's Guide 2.0. In this episode, we're going to be talking about everything that you've got to do to get through Uranus and to complete the Neptune Junction. So at this point in the game, you've probably realized that it's getting a little bit more difficult. So if the game is feeling a little bit harder to you, then what you want to do is upgrade your mods. Upgrade Vitality, upgrade your damage mods, upgrade your elemental damage mods, and then that should help you out a lot. You can upgrade other things like mods for reload speed, mods for fire rate, mods for ability duration, mods for ability efficiency, mods for ability range and ability strength and stuff like that to increase how powerful your warframes and your weapons are as well. So just take another look at your modding section, invest endo into your mods that you use on your warframes and your weapons on a regular basis, and then the rest of the content should be pretty easy. If you're having trouble farming endo, again, if you recall back, I think it was like maybe 2 or 3 episodes ago, after we completed the Stolen Dreams quest, we met a character called Maru. Now, if you go to Mars, you can see a place called Maru's Bazaar. If you go to Maru's Bazaar, you talk to Maru, there's gonna be a little quest that you can do for Maru on, I think, a weekly basis. I'm not too sure if it's a weekly or a daily basis, but I'm pretty sure it's a weekly. You do this on a weekly basis, and you basically go and you get this Ayatan treasure. Now, what you can do with this Ayatan treasure is take it and put those Ayatan stars that you pick up while you're playing the game into it. And if you put in most treasures, it's 2 blue stars and then 1 red star. If you put in all those stars and then you go back to Maru's Bazaar, you can actually trade in the statue for a decent amount of endo. You're talking 1,000 to 2,000 endo a time here. So that is probably your most reliable yet also kind of non-reliable way of getting endo early game. It's definitely going to be what gets you the most endo instead of relying on things like excavation missions, for example. Although excavation missions are good, it's just you're sort of relying on RNG there, where these Ayatan sculptures are like a guaranteed thing, and these Ayatan stars as well, they're not necessarily guaranteed, but you're gonna see a few of them as you're playing through the game. So with that out of the way, I asked you guys to go ahead and pick up Nova from the boss called the Raptor. So you don't have to have her crafted for this episode. You need to have her crafted for the next episode. So what we're going to do is we're just going to go ahead and blast through these junction requirements for the Neptune Junction, and then we can jump into what we have to do in the next episode, because the next episode is far more important in terms of just stuff that you've got to do rather than this one. This one is just getting this planet done and out of the way. It is a aesthetically pleasing tile set. It's really cool. It's got like submersible areas and stuff like that where you have to jump into your Archwing. So also upgrade mods for your Archwing as well. Upgrade the health mods, the damage mods and stuff like that that you've got for your Archwing, and make sure to have them equipped. If you haven't got any mods for your Archwing, just go back in the star chart and then do some of those Archwing missions to get a little bit more mods. It's not omega important that you have a lot of mods on your Archwing. There's only a few sections within Uranus where you're going to be using your Archwing underwater, so it's not really important that you have them maxed out or anything like that, but just in case you struggle in those submersible areas, just if you are struggling and you just can't kill enemies in those areas, upgrade your mods. That's the best advice that I can give you. It's also really important that you are getting like all of your equipment to level 30 as well. So I should have mentioned this in the previous video, but now that you've completed Saturn, if you go to the node Helene on Saturn and you play it publicly, that is going to be your go-to mission for leveling for now, right? Because you can take a weapon in there. If you unequip your other 2 weapons, so let's say you have the Heck and you want to level the Heck from 0 to 30, if you unequip your secondary weapon and your melee weapon, you can do about 15 or 20 waves on Helene on Saturn while you're playing in a group of 4 players or 3 players with you. Then you can get that from level 0 to 30 in one run. It's a little bit more difficult for leveling Warframes. So let's say you ended up picking up Nova. You got to get kills with your Warframe abilities. So I'd recommend jumping into Helene and spamming your second ability literally everywhere. So, again, you don't have to have Nova for this episode, but you definitely need to have her for the next episode. So these junction requirements, the first one that we have here is to complete the quest called Nata. Now, to get this quest, you've got to scan this blue drone that randomly appears in a mission on Uranus. So I managed to get mine to spawn in a mobile defense mission. You got to have a codex scanner, or that scanner that Cephalon Samaras gives you equipped to your gear wheel before you jump into the mission. Basically, this guy is just going to randomly spawn. Your screen is going to flash. You scan him, and then he's going to go away. And whenever you come back to your ship, then you're going to have the Nata quest available. Now, this quest isn't hard. It has a lot of like lore content in it, so I'm not going to talk about it whatsoever in this video. Just go ahead, play for it yourself. In the next episode, there is going to be a spoiler quest that I'm going to need to show one part of in case people struggle with this one particular part, but I'll make sure to include a spoiler warning, well, of course in this video because I'm talking about it right now, but then also in the next episode before I show the thing that players might struggle with. So I'll probably talk about that at the end of the next episode. But the Nata quest is very easy to do. It's just a bunch of random missions and stuff like that, so you should be able to get through it quite easily. Next up, we've got defeat Tal Regor on Titania on Uranus. So Tal Regor is a boss that you're gonna see a lot of because I mentioned in the previous episode that we're gonna be farming an AoE nuke frame called Equinox. Now, Equinox is one of the best frames in the game because of how many different things she's able to do. She is a yin and yang themed warframe, so she has a day form and she has a night form, and these two different forms are capable of doing different things. So the day form is about AoE damage dealing and also buffing up your teammates, where the night form is more about healing, damage reduction, and crowd control. You're 110% not gonna have Equinox by the next episode, and I will not expect you to have Equinox by the next episode simply because she's like two different frames. She's got like a split personality type thing. She's yin and yang. You've gotta farm up a lot more parts than you would with a regular warframe. So you've got to farm up the day neuroptics, the day chassis, the day systems, the night neuroptics, the night systems, the night chassis. Then you've got to get the day aspect and the night aspect as well, which is like the blueprint for the two different aspects of the frame, and then you have to merge her together using the Equinox blueprint, and then that's going to take another further 3 days on top of the 12 hours that it takes for all these other things that you farmed up. So you have to farm up 8 different things, then buy the blueprint and wait a further 3 days to put everything together, and it's just going to be a big pain in the butt, but it's definitely worth it. She's a really good, useful frame whenever you get your hands on her. So again, this is one of the necessary grinds that is going to frustrate the shit out of you because Tal Regor, the boss itself, is such a drawn out long boss fight. It's honestly unnecessary. So you go into this boss fight, and what he does, he's a melee boss. He can teleport around the arena. He's really easy to kill, honestly. All you have to do is guess where he's gonna be, or like he'll blink in front of you. Just deal damage to him. Then you can use Excalibur, you can use Rhino, you can use Nova. It doesn't really matter. If you're using Excalibur, use your Radial Blind, then use your Exalted Blade, spam E, and then you'll deal a lot of damage to him because he's blind. You get that stealth multiplier. If you're using Rhino, use your second ability to get the damage resistance, and then damage resistance and vulnerability. Then use your third ability to get that damage buff. Then if you're playing Nova, just use your fourth ability to slow him down, then use your second ability, Antimatter Drop. Use the Hex Shotgun to shoot into this Antimatter Drop, and then that's going to deal a lot more damage to him. I'm sorry for the voice crack there, by the way. But yeah, so you want to keep on doing that. He's going to go through these different stages where he's invulnerable, and he's doing this little animation which changes up the arena in some way. So the first time he's going to shoot his fists up to the glass and crack it, and water's going to fall down, and then 2 Manics are going to spawn in. You can kill them or you can ignore them. It doesn't really matter. Tal Regor is going to eventually spawn in after those guys anyway, and then after you do that, just do whatever it is that you did to make him go into his immunity phase for the first time. And then what's going to happen is he's going to break the glass, which is above the arena, and you're going to have to jump up to the platform that is above where you originally fight him, like just above where his little statue is. So just crouch down, look up towards the platform, and then press spacebar or X button or whatever. And that's how you sort of like propel yourself up into the air with a bullet jump. And if you need a little bit more momentum going up there, then just press E. So what's going to happen then is another 2 Maddox are going to spawn. Kill them, ignore them, it doesn't matter. Tal Regor is going to spawn in, then just do the same thing again. Use your Radial Blind and Exalted Blade, or your Antimatter Drop and your M Prime, and then the guy will be dead. But it is a very drawn out boss fight, and again, you've got to make sure that you've got your mods upgraded so you're able to actually, deal damage to him. So make sure that before you do any mission on Eurytus to upgrade your mods, because you're 110% going to need it. We're in like the final world tiers of the star chart now, if that makes any sense. So spy missions and survival missions, defense missions, all the different missions are going to be dropping different mods and different rewards now in higher quantities of endo and credits and stuff like that. Try your very best to farm up Equinox, and if the grind frustrates you too much, then just go out of your way to farm Prime Frames, right? Get the relics for Prime Frames, and you might even get Equinox Prime before you get regular Equinox. That's totally okay too, but you can get, the Prime sets to sell to other players to get the Platinum to then buy Equinox from the market if you really want to, instead of going through the Tal Regor grind trying to get all those parts to drop. And no one would blame you for that, because it is a pain in the ass to farm. Next up, for the junction requirements, we have complete any 5 missions on Uranus with only your melee weapon equipped. So this one should be pretty easy. You got the Redeemer, just throw on Pressure Point, throw on Fury, throw on 2 elemental mods, hopefully Fever Strike and Shocking Touch, and then you're good to go. Really easy, honestly. Like, I was still one-shotting enemies in, I said Eurytus earlier, and then I said Uranus, but it's Uranus. So, I was still able to one-shot enemies in Eurytus with the Redeemer, so it shouldn't be too hard. And then last but not least, we have open free caches during any sabotage mission on Eurytus. I hate this planet so much. So the sabotage mission is called Desdemona, and I swear to DE, this final junction requirement is bugged, because I jumped in here and I was like, okay, I'm going to test it out this time around, because every single other time that I've done this junction requirement, sometimes I can complete it by opening up the regular caches, right? And it completes it just fine. And then other times I need to open up the rare caches. I'm going to show you guys what the rare caches look and sound like. So the rare caches are basically regular caches just with a white glue to them and a little dinging sound effect, I guess you could say. So make sure to turn your game up to, like, I don't know, maybe 70 volume, and turn your Spotify up as well, because God knows we all listen to music while we play Warframe. Yeah, just turn up your in-game sound and listen up for those that little dinging noise. It says you have to open 3 caches during any sabotage mission. You don't have to open all 3 into one mission. If it happens for you to be the rare caches, which I don't think it is, then you don't have to find them all in the one mission. You can find 2, and if you just give up looking for the 3rd, that's totally okay. It's extract and go back in. But then for me, like, it was the regular caches this time around. It doesn't specify that it is rare caches. I just accidentally went into the junction there whenever I was reading that. But sometimes whenever I'm doing these guides, it doesn't register whenever I open up the original 3 caches, right? Like the normal caches, and then I go into a mission, I come back out again, and then the junction requirement is completed. And sometimes it just wants me to open up the rare caches, and then I go in and I do that, and it works. So I honestly couldn't tell you if it's looking for you to open up the rare caches in a sabotage mission or just regular caches. Both seem to work. So I guess first time, jump in, try it, open up 3 regular caches that you can find anywhere in the map. And then if that doesn't work, then go in and look for those rare caches. That's what I did. And I only found 2 rare caches, and the junction requirement was completed. So I don't know. It's a weird junction requirement. I think it's bugged. I honestly do think it's bugged. But yeah, the mission prior to that, I opened up 3 of the regular caches, but it wasn't completed after I left that mission. So just to give you guys a heads up that one's a little bit buggy, but once you do that, you can jump into the Neptune junction, and the junction boss there is Loki. He's one of the squishiest frames in the game, so if you just bring Excalibur, again, Radial Blind, Exalted Blade, spam E, and you're done, and presto, you've got access to Neptune. All right, so the only thing that I have left to sort of teach you guys in this episode is the spy vaults that are unique to this tile set. So we can quickly run through those, and I can also talk about the importance of those corrupted mods that we farmed in the previous episodes. So this is like an armory update, I guess you could say. So on my Excalibur right now, I've got a 4 from the top vitality. I've got a max out continuity. So this here mod in particular, this is a very rare mod for a newer player. You usually get this from Sargus Rock. I got extremely lucky, and I actually got this from that Ayatan Sculpture mission, which I've confirmed is weekly, by the way. It's a weekly Ayatan Sculpture mission that you do for Maru, and it's like a 50-50 chance on whether or not it's in the Derelict or it's in the Void. Now, if you get the one in the Void, you get this like little obstacle course that you run through, and at the end of this obstacle course, you have all these containers. Make sure that you break off those containers because you have the chance to get continuity from said containers. That is, in my opinion, the most reliable way to get continuity. And continuity is so important on a Warframe such as Excalibur. And I'll show you guys why. So if we go to my config B, right, I've got no mods on here. We get back out of that to remove all the stats over in this left-hand side, right? So I'm at 100% duration, 100 efficiency, 100 range, 100 strength. And that's just your base stats, right? So if I hover over Exalted Blade here, you can see that our drain per second, so this is the amount of energy that it drains per second while you're in Exalted Blade, it's at 2.5, right? But if we were to equip continuity, it goes down to 1.92. So this is an introduction into how drain abilities are affected by your mods, right? So it doesn't actually reduce the cost to cast Exalted Blade initially, right? So it's not like efficiency where we're just that cost to cast. We go ahead, we take continuity off, it goes back up to 2.5. If we were to throw on Streamline, which is one from the top right now, you see it reduces the drain of the ability initially, right? And it also reduces that drain per second. So if we combine Streamline plus continuity, you can see that our initial drain is lower and the drain per second is a lot lower as well. So there's the cost to cast, which is 18.75, and then 1.44 energy per second while Exalted Blade is active, right? So what you want to go out of your way to get if you're playing Excalibur is this here mod called Fleet and Expertise. So another thing that I can teach you guys about efficiency is that it caps out at 175% on this little screen here, right? So if you were to take a Streamline, right, this gives you 25%, and then we take a Fleet and Expertise, which is one from the top. So this is Streamline one from the top, Fleet and Expertise one from the top. You can see that we go to 175%. If I were to max out Streamline, it would go to 30%. We would still stay at 175% here, right? So that takes us to 6.25 to cast Exalted Blade, then 1.25 per second. Per second for when we're in Exalted Blade, right? We throw on continuity, goes down to 0.78 energy per second. So you can stay in Exalted Blade for a very, very, very long time if you mod your Excalibur correctly. So these here free mods for Excalibur, extremely important if you just want to blitz through a lot of content, because Exalted Blade is so powerful right now, especially whenever you combine it with Radio Blind. You can deal a lot of damage. So what I would throw on after this point is just Vitality, and then if you got any other mods to increase your health, such as Gladiator Resolve, for example, which just gives me a little bit more health, you can throw on whatever is your last one. But I would run these free mods if you have it. If you don't have continuity, don't worry about it. Go back and play the Corrupted Vaults until you get Fleet and Expertise. That's very important. That's one of the best mods, honestly. And then Streamline plus Fleeting is like what the minimum. Vitality, Streamline, Fleeting is the minimum I would recommend before jumping into Uranus, right? So that's cool. Moving on to the Heck. I've got a working Kieta list on here, and I've formatted it 3 times actually. You don't have to format it 3 times. Just try to match my build as closely as possible. Make sure you've got Point Blank on. Make sure you've got Hell's Chamber on. Try to get Charged Shell on. Try to get Incendiary Coat on, and you should be good to go. Blunderbuss is just for crit chance, so I land more critical hits. I've got a what's the chance on here? 19% chance. So 19%. It sounded like I said 90 there. 19% chance for crit hits, which isn't huge, but it's still all right. Could probably get more damage if I threw a third element on, actually. instead of that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to swap these around. So this is for reload speed and punch rate. This is a nightmare mod. Just give me more reload speed. More reload speed is technically more DPS. Tactical pump, more reload speed as well. That's just to make it feel a little bit better for me right now. I don't know, just reload speed makes it feel nice. And what I'm going to do now actually is throw on this this cold mod right here to give me radiation and cold. So if I go to this and I type in Chilling Grasp, we can max that out. And then I can get more damage instead of having a blunderbuss on there. That probably makes a little bit more sense. So that gives me radiation and cold, which means you're pretty much going to one-shot bombards at this point. So that's cool. So this here would be the build that I would run for my Heck as of right now. Again, you don't need Seek and Fury, you don't need Tactical Pump. You can take those there off and then still have a really decent build. The Ballistica, that's just a weapon that I'm leveling. You can just completely ignore the secondary category right now. I went ahead and I got the Lex, which is a secondary weapon that a lot of people would recommend, and then I turned that into the Aklex for the more mastery. The secondary weapon that a lot of people would recommend at this point would be the Adamus. So I would go ahead and get that there. It's a pretty good weapon. It's like a beam weapon. You can put a lot of fire on it and deal a lot of damage that way. And then of course we've got the Redeemer here as well. So the pressure point, Fury, Strike, Shock, and Touch hasn't changed because I haven't got an Orc and Keyless on it. So yeah, I put an Orc and Keyless on the Heck right here because I wanted to do that. I had one and I was able to do it, and that's because I invested in the Nightwave. And then of course I played I played my Fisher missions. I got my Forma blueprints. I crafted free Forma and I applied that to my Heck. So I put on V polarities and a dash polarity. So yeah, so dash polarity is because whenever an elemental mod is max rank, it's like 12, and in Hell's Chamber, Point Blank, they're just staples. They're never going to swap off, so you might as well just reduce the cost of those by a bit. So yeah, that's my sort of armory update, I guess you could say. And then we can move over here. Here's the Ayathan treasures. Here is one that is completely maxed out. We've got this here one right here, so I can put some stuff in. Yeah, let's do that. So you put the Amber Star in, we put in the Cyan Star, another Cyan Star, and then if I wanted to, oh, never mind, that's not an Amber Star. So yeah, there we go. We've maxed out that sculpture. It's worth 2.7k Indo, and then this here one is worth 1.5k Indo. So if I go ahead and I go up to my navigation, I'm going to Mars, go to Marie's Bazaar. We can spawn in here and get this sweet Endo. I know I've probably demonstrated this in other videos, but just to show you guys the process to make sure that it's like nailed into your head, I guess. Let's go ahead and skip. Hop on over. You can also come here to trade, but if you go to your clan, which is probably something we should talk about as well. If you go to your clan dojo, 4.2k Indo right there, you can use your trading post, and the trade tax is going to be a lot lower. So I mentioned in the previous video that one of the things that you're going to be struggling with the most right now is credits. So if you trade in Marie's Bazaar, if you're trading with other players in Marie's Bazaar, there's a trade tax. So it's going to take a hefty amount of credits from you. And things like Prime mods, for example, I really doubt that you're going to be trading Prime mods right now. But for example, Prime mods are 1 million credits each to trade, and that is without a trade tax. So this here thing up here, this is your trade post. So you can come up to this and you can trade with other players. I haven't got it enabled in this account because, you know, I haven't got two-factor turned on, but you're able to just, you know, trade with any player that is in the dojo. So another thing I should mention about clan dojos as well is you can come to the different labs, right? So this is my dojo. We've got the chemical lab over here, and this is weapons that the Grenier faction uses. You can come up here, and if you're making your own clan, you'd have to research all of these blueprints. So you'd have to invest resources into creating these blueprints, and then your clan could come in here and replicate these blueprints, right? So we mentioned that we need the Amphis to craft the Sidon. This is where you get the blueprint for the Sidon, right? I would come in here, I'd press replicate. Go ahead and replicate the blueprint for 15,000 credits. And there you go. We've now got the Sidon blueprint in my foundry ready to craft. And you can see that I need Detonite Injector to craft that. And Detonite Injector is a resource that is rewarded to you by doing invasion missions. If you guys recall, I explained whenever we got to like Ceres or something that there's these invasion missions that you can do where you can side with a certain faction. that is a resource that is rewarded from there. Or you can get the blueprint from here and then craft it with your Credits, Detonite, Ampule, Control Module, Savage, Plastids. This is another one of those resources that you want to have one of these going every single day. So you want to replicate this resource as well. So you want to go ahead and get everything in here. You don't need the squad ammo restore medium. If the large is available over here, pick up the large. So get all of these blueprints in here. This is the chemical lab of your dojo. You can pause the game, go to fast travel, chemical lab, right? And then there's other labs as well. So if we come over here, this is the energy lab, which is corpus weapons, right? So we come in here, this here thing right here, squad energy restores large. Get it. This is so useful, and this will save you so much time and energy. It's crazy. This thing is a must. It's really good. Really good. You can just pop it down, 100 energy. That's it. You know, like, it's the difference between using Exalted Blade and not using Exalted Blade, you know? So, yeah. But there's a bunch of stuff in here. Anti-serum injector research. You don't need that immediately right now. You don't even have those anti-serum injector fragments. But all of these weapons in here, again, go ahead, replicate the blueprints for them, and then craft them in your foundry when you've got the research. You want to focus on getting this field run research, replicate that, and then have one of these building once a day as well. So, yep, there's that. We can go over here to the, this is the biolab, right? So this is like your infested stuff. You got to get your mutagen mass research, so replicate that, right? And then you can also get your squad health restores as well. So if you want to spam those down to get a lot of health, you can actually, these little pads that I'm talking about, you can keybind those, right? So I usually have mine on 6. So I press 6, I put down an energy pad. I press 7, I put down a health pad. I press 8, I have a ammo pad, you know, that type of thing. So that's really cool. And all you have to do is equip it to your gear wheel, which I can't show you right now. But then you go to options, you go to customize key bindings, and then you can bind your gear hotkey, right? So mine is on 6 right now because it must share the key binds with my main account. So that's a thing that's cool. So, yep, get your mutagen mass and then get all the blueprints in here that you know, you can get with the limited amount of credits that you got. And then last but not least, we've got the Tenno Lab, and this is where you get all the cool looking weapons, right? So you got the Axtiletto, the Zakti, the Sybaris, Venka, all these weapons in here are cool. The Baza is a really good one. The Axtiletto is a really good one. Baza and Axtiletto do have prime variants as well. The Nakana is good. You can use that to make the Dragon Nakana. What else is good in here? You can get Banshee as a warfare and get her blueprint, her systems, her optics. If you didn't choose Volt at the beginning of the game, you can get him in here as well. So here's Volt. You can get Neja, which is kind of like a faster Rhino with a okay amount of CC and teleporting mobility. You've got Wukong, who is a okay frame as well. Zephyr, again, an okay frame. You've got different Arcwings in here too, so you can get the research for the Amisha, which is like a healing Arcwing. You've got, what else? You got the Itzel, which is a fast Arcwing, and you've got the Latron, which is like your nuking Arcwing. So there's 3 different classes of Arcwing there. You just have to get the wings systems harness for each of those by replicating the blueprints in here. So there's a lot to get in the Tenno Lab. Tenora is also a really good rifle too. You can see how some of these require Forma. Well, I think every single weapon from the Tenno Lab at the very least, let me go check, the Chemical Lab requires Forma. So not only do you have to be building, you know, the resources for this stuff on a daily basis, yeah, it requires Forma. You also have to be building the Forma as well. So Forma is needed for so many things in this game, but those weapons in there are very, very, very good. If we go back to this lab, weapon that I can recommend, which is really good, Marlock is really good, Ignis is really good. Right, so those would be the 2 must-have weapons I would get from this lab. So Detonite Injector, Squad Ammo, Restore, Marlock, Ignis. Those would be the first things that I would get. We go to the energy. There's going to be a lot more in energy probably. So in here, get your Squad Energy Restore, 100%. Get your Field Drum Research, of course. Then go for the Lanka, which is really good. The Arca Plasmor, the Amprex, and then that would be it. Get those first. The Tenno Lab, there's going to be a lot of stuff in here. Get your Axtiletto, get your Sybaris, get your Venka, get your Tenora, get your Nakana, get your Piranha, get your Baza, Banshee Systems, Neuroptics, chassis, get your, let's see, what else have we got in here? Landing Craft Foundry segment. That's for allows construction of landing craft, allows construction of air support. I don't think you need that. Kavat Incubator upgrade segment. You want to pick that up as well. Let me see, what else have we got in here? Why is the Scourge in here? That's a weird one. Tombow is good. I like the Tombow. Let me see. Lacera, nah. Neja, get the blueprint, the systems, Neuroptics, the chassis. Nutrio, get this here. This is for your companions as well, and you'll need that for whenever you get a Kavat, which we can actually get, by the way. Volt Research, get the systems, the Neuroptics, the chassis, plus the blueprint. Wukong systems, Neuroptics, chassis. Zephyr systems, Neuroptics, chassis. You can pick up all this Arcwing stuff as well, although it's not necessary. The Amisha is the one I would 110% recommend going for, because that's what you're going to use in Railjack missions, which is a piece of content which you do a lot later on. So there's a lot of stuff in there to get. And then last but not least, we have the Biolab over here, which you want to get your mutagen mass, and then the weapons in here that I would recommend. You can maybe pick up the Dual Core, you can maybe pick up the Synapse, Dual Toxicist and Phage, and then the Squad Health Restore. But the Biolab, this would be the last one that I would go for, honestly. Like, those are the least interesting weapons. You can maybe pick up the Jin as a companion if you want a few. What's it called? The Pox are pretty good too. So those weapons are okay, but they're not 110% great. They're not what most players would go for. So that's the dojo. We learned a lot about that. I mentioned Kavats. So you get that Kavat upgrade segment from, what's it called? Helena on Saturn. If I can show you in here, I might actually have one. If I type it in, Kavat. Nope, maybe I've got it crafted, but I can show you in the market. So you get this Kavat upgrade segment, which allows you to incubate Kavats at your little thing, Kavat Incubator upgrade segment. You want to get this, and then you've got to get 10 Kavat genetic codes, and you find feral Kavats in the Orc and Derelict. So whenever you're doing your Corrupted Vault runs, you may have came across some feral Kavats. Sometimes they're invisible, sometimes they are not invisible whenever they aggro on you. So you can use your Codex scanner to scan them, and you get Kavat genetic codes, which you can then use to incubate a Kavat. And there are two types of Kavats that you want to go for: the Adarza Kitty and the Smita. The Smita is the better one because it is a sort of a lucky cat, right? It swaps through all of these different, I've got a Kubru in here. It swaps through all the different buffs and stuff like that. So sometimes you can get a buff from it, which gives you double resources. And you may have caught on to the fact that in the open worlds, there are activities like fishing and mining, and there's some other resources later on which are very scarce, right? So if you bring a Smita Kavat along whenever you're farming these resources, and he just so happens to proc his luck buff, then you can get double or triple the resources depending on how many Kavats you've got going and how many boosters you've got going, and like if it's a double double resource weekend and stuff like that. So I originally started doing this commentary to show you guys how to do spy missions, so I guess we'll do that now instead of me sitting here rambling. But yeah, so that might have been a decent chunk of information to take in there. So you could go everywhere to get a Kavat. Won't expect you guys to have it, but you definitely could. There's other ways to farm the Kavat genetic codes more efficiently. There's a certain quest that you can do, the Anaros quest, which is called Tombs of Anaros or something. You can do that, and a lot of feral Kavats spawn in that mission. So there's the little flash for the little drone that we gotta spawn. Maybe he spawns in this mission. There he is. There's the little drone. So you just scan him, and there's gonna be a little bit of dialogue coming from the Lotus. But we're here to do spy missions, so we're gonna do that. We're gonna do spy missions, dude. Some people love spy missions, some people hate them. I love them. So let's hack our way in. Easy peasy. Jump on down. So don't worry about triggering alarms in spy missions. You only lose out on bonus affinity, bonus XP. So we've already triggered that one, which is fine because we're just going to do this. Use your slash test to get up here. You can use your radio blind to stun those guys. Just hack the console, like so. Done. Don't overcomplicate things. Just get it done fast, you know? That's how Warframe is played. Do it fast, do it efficiently. You know, like, it doesn't matter if you trigger the alarm. If you're getting it done faster, you can do it over and over and over again. Even if you're farming XP here. Think of it like that. Like, if it takes you more time to stealth it, if it's prolonging the amount of time that you spend in the mission, it's probably not worth it. You know, just get it done fast. You get more runs in, you get more XP, that type of thing. So, heading over the B now. The spy missions in this tile set, they don't change. So what I'm showing you now, this is like, you'll just be able to know this forever, right? So this is the underwater part. So you want to hack this console. You come down here to the right. Okay, there we go. We go for a swim. Follow the yellow pipe. You see? You can shoot that, and that disables the turbines. Keep following the pipe. Go over here. Go up. And around. Hack the console. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Jump on in. Hack the console again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And you're done. A lot of people get confused in that one. They have no idea how to do it. And it's like one of the easiest ones. We go to C now, my dude. We go to C what we can see at C. I'm cringe as fuck, I know. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I've spent years doing this. I have to amuse myself and talk to myself some way. I guess I'm already doing that. This is what insanity sounds like, guys. I'm just saying. Just repetitive, doing the same missions over and over and over, teaching the same things over and over and over. Hack this console. 1, 2, 3. Alright, so this here one, intimidating room, right? Super big. Where do I go? Right and up. Up through the vent. Turn around. Shoot the grate. You're gonna see lasers. Right, so you see the laser right there? Okay. Laser bad. Up. Walk over laser. Shoot grate. Reload gun. Fall down the vent. And you go left or right. Is left the right way? Yeah, left takes you right into the spy room. Stun the bad guy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Easy. And you're done. And you can exit through this way right here. You know, you just hop on over. Done. Up the stairs. Like so. And that's it. That's your spy mission done. So, because the world tier has sort of like leveled up, you're in like a world tier 3 now, then you get the rifle 60/60 mods, which I believe is called Thermite Rounds and Frostbite, from doing these spy missions. You don't necessarily have to farm them in these spy missions, right? You can wait until you go to Neptune and do the spy missions there, because those are going to be a lot faster and a lot more familiar, because it's just the generic Corpus tile set, you know? So you can do it there. I got a new mod. Or you can do it here. It's entirely up to you, but you can also get, I believe it's the Ivara Blueprint and Ivara Neuroptics from here as well. So, or Neptune. It doesn't really matter which. So I'm not sure if it's the Ivara Neuroptics, but I got Power Throw, Endo, and a Relic. So that's okay. So that's how you do the spy mission. Pretty simple. Again, if you guys have any questions about Warframe A and how to do the things and stuff, do let me know in the comment section down below. But yeah, this is just Uranus. Uranus is just a planet that you want to blast through. You want to blast through it. Do everything that you can. Don't worry too much about making it hard for yourself and doing defense missions and interception missions if you can't do them. The other things that I can tell you is make sure that you're staying on top of your syndicates and stuff like that. So at the minute, I'm at Defender. I need to get 75 standing. So you can do your syndicate missions, which you go to here. You go to the little fist. sorry, not the fist, the little web, you can see that I've got syndicate missions to do. I can go in here, I can complete those, get a little bit more standing. If you've got multiple frames, make sure that you equip your syndicate sigil on those frames. Otherwise, you're not going to be earning the standing with the syndicate while you're playing. So that's a thing that a lot of players forget to do. But the only other thing that I can talk to you about is farming a mod called Condition Overload, which I got really lucky, and I got while I did the Natak quest. So Condition Overload is a extremely rare mod, and I am the luckiest man in the world. I should do the lottery because I got this here again while doing the Natak quest. So that mod is basically like Pressure Point, right? So it's calculated the same way Pressure Point adds damage to your melee weapon, right? So this is like a flat 120% melee damage. But then if we run Condition Overload to the maximum, you see that it gives 120%. And the condition for it, get it, Condition Overload, melee damage per status type affecting the target. So if you were to apply 2 status effects to an enemy, that's 120 times 2, right? So it's 240 bonus damage that you're getting right there. So in endgame builds, you use Condition Overload over Pressure Point in the circumstance where you're applying multiple status procs to an enemy, right? And you're not running Pressure Point or Prime Pressure Point in conjunction with Condition Overload, because you have diminishing returns at that point because of how everything else is calculated, right? You want crit chance, you want critical damage, you want elemental damage and stuff like that to give you more burst DPS and just more damage overall, because, you know, enemies are weak to certain elemental damage types to take bonus damage from it. Crit is multiplicative, stuff like that. So you don't want to miss out on all that other good stuff by stacking too much of a bonus damage stat on your melee weapon, if that makes sense to you guys. So yeah, that's cool. So the status chance on this weapon right now is 22%. Probably too low to run Condition Overload on it right now, but then what it would allow you to do would be run the likes of Vicious Frost and Volcanic Edge, right? That would make Blast, which isn't the best, but, you know, it's up in that status chance. Then you can take advantage of Condition Overload and potentially deal more damage, but you want to wait until later on, until you get your Malignant Force and Voltaic Strike. No, it's not Malignant Force, it's... Shit, I forget the mod for Toxin Melee. Damn. Virulent Scourge, that's what it's called. Virulent Scourge and Voltaic Strike. Those are the 2 mods that you want to get to run Condition Overload on Melee if you want to run Corrosive, right? Or you can run Viral, which is Virulent Scourge and Vicious Frost. You can do that there as well. But yeah, so that was a big chunk of knowledge for you guys. It wasn't a little bit of knowledge, it was a big chunk of knowledge. It extended the time of the video, which I wasn't really planning to do, but every little helps, I guess. Weekly item treasure hunt. But yeah, that's going to be it for this video, guys. Thank you guys for watching this episode of the Beginner Guide. This is episode 9, right? Yeah, next episode is episode 10. Episode 10 is going to be a big one because the game is going to start to not make sense. It already doesn't make any sense. It's going to make even less sense in the next episode, so stay tuned for that. But yeah, like the video if you liked it, subscribe for more Warframe content, and I will see you guys in the next one.